It's good. Go for it.
Good morning, I am Tobias Bittner,
I'm Terry Riblick. I'm Kiernan Wright.
and today we'll be giving you our presentation on the planet Venus. So just kind of an introduction to Venus. Venus is the second planet from the Sun, approximately 162 million miles from the Earth. It is a very hot planet most of the time, but when the Sun's not hitting it, it does dip in extremes. We'll be talking about that later. When you see it in the sky, it is most of the time an orange or red dot near Jupiter, and it has a very, very rough terrain. So right here you can see its relation in with Jupiter. Actually this week Jupiter and Venus are supposed to collide in a superstar, so it's going to be a really bright spot in the sky. That is where Jupiter and Venus overlap from our point of view. And that is an example of the very rough terrain. Alright, so just kind of an overview of what we will be going over today. So today we'll be going over some planet basics such as size, its relation to the Sun, composition, and the geography of the planet. And also with the Earth comparison, we will be doing similarities and differences to the Earth as our planet. And there will also be showing you the hows of how we found what we found with the scientific and the extent of our knowledge on the planet. Awesome.
Okay, so basically, just like the basics of Venus, it's the sixth largest planet, and its surface area is 177.7 billion miles to the second power. And the radius is 3,760 miles, and its diameter is obviously double that, and its mass is 4.869 times 10 to the 24th kilograms. Okay, so distance from the Sun, it's the second planet from the Sun, so it's pretty close to it, and it's 0.72 AUs. The composition, so Venus is mainly composed of carbon dioxide, which obviously is what we breathe out, and it has several layers of sulfuric acid clouds, and they're many kilometers thick. And because of that, it has a completely obscure view of the planet, because there's just clouds, you can't really see it. It has really dense atmosphere, which also causes it to have the greenhouse effect, which is basically just it raises the surface temperature of the planet. And so because of that, it's hot. Its surface temperature is hotter than Mercury. So. And then it also has a vortex at each pole, so that's like kind of like what it looks like. And then it has a north polar vortex, and it has a double eye shape, which is just that. So there's two vortexes next to each other, so it just kind of looks like eyes. And it makes complete rotation in 3 Earth days. And then it also has pretty strong winds at cloud tops, but then it has slow winds on the surface. And then the surface, it once had, we think, large amounts of water, but then we think all that water got evaporated because of its distance to the Sun. And it's now, because of its distance from the Sun, it's covered in lava flows, and it has volcanoes, and it has a few hot spots. Most of the volcanoes of it have run inactive, with the exception of the hot spots. So landscape, it has rolling plains, and then it has depressions, but then it also has highlands. So it kind of has a mixture of different terrain. And then, okay, so similarities to Earth. We call it our sister planet because it's pretty similar, and it has 10% of the Earth's diameter and 80% of Earth's mass. And like Earth, it's a relatively young planet and only has a few craters, and it also has a similar density and chemical composition. And then differences, one Venus day is equal to 243 Earth days. And we thought originally that was the most hospitable place for life, and we were looking to if we could live on Venus. But then when we looked closer at it, we realized it actually was the most in the hospital places that's in our solar system, and that's because of the pressure on Venus, which is 90 atmospheres, which is the equivalent of our oceans at low levels. And then it's also composed of mainly carbon dioxide, so we wouldn't be able to breathe, and its surface temperature is hot enough to melt lead. So basically, it wouldn't work for us to live there.
Well,
information from like many different things. One was from rovers. Also earlier before in 1600 BC, Babylonians studied Venus and its rotation, and yeah. No.
Alright, so what we still don't know, we still don't really know what's going on the surface. This is because with all of our explorations, we have sent over 30-something missions there to go and explore the surface, but right now the record is on the surface 127 minutes. Of that, only 50 minutes are actually broadcasting back information. So we'd love to try to beat that record, but because of the extremes on the planet, it's 127 minutes before the instruments of the rovers melted. And we also don't know what the winds are. We can, from sonar from the sky, we can see where mountains and valleys are, and we can predict the wind with the air pressure and what the air is made of, but we still really don't know what they are. Once again, we can't go on the surface to study them. We can't really deploy any probes, short-term or long-term, because the planet will destroy them because it's in inhospitable conditions. We also don't know what the surface landforms are like because of the way that, once again, with the sonar, we can't send anything down there, so if there's like any caves or anything underneath the surface, we can't see it. So those are multiple things that we don't know. Rooted up!
No sneaking up in here.
You can say at ease.
At ease.
Okay, in my summary, I'll be first restating what they have already told us, and then I'll read what is on the presentation. Okay, it's the second planet from the sun, and is about 162 million miles from the Earth. Has a very rough terrain. They have two vortex, both rotate vertically, and north pole vortex, south pole
Still, we have a
equal 1 Venus days equals 243 Earth days. Venus is a too hot planet and is very cold at night, so we can't live there anyways. A conjunction is when Venus transits across the face of the sun, so every once in a while we'll see like a little black dot in front of the sun, and that's Venus. And that's this slide. The Roman goddess Venus, which the planet is named after, is the goddess of what? Just, I know we didn't go over this, but try and guess.
Love.
Yes.
How do you know that answer? I'm just kidding.
That's pretty standard mythology.
Oh, basic mythology, excuse me. Huh?
It's not like Babylonian gods or anything.
Okay.
How many Earth days is 1 day on Venus?
260.
No. But you're close. 266? No. 260. Guys, it's lower than that.
Is it 334?
Close. You're close. Like, a little bit higher.
36.
It's 243 Earth days. Why is Venus known as Earth's sister planet?
Because it's similar to the composition of Earth, besides the fact that it's mainly carbon dioxide.
Yeah. Okay. Venus has two other names. What are they? I didn't go over this one either, but it's pretty easy.
It's pretty easy to
Sister
learn.
technique.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not exactly easy.
The birth sister commandment and
Hotter than.
Okay, one of it has to be with like the morning and evening, and then another letter after, like word after.
If you didn't teach the class, just tell them the answer, 'cause we gotta get going.
It's morning star or evening star. How long ago was Venus path dated back to?
1600 BC.
Yes. And next slide. After that one. These are all the resources we used to get all of this information. And
Is there any questions?
All right, everybody give a round of applause.